Hey everyone, welcome to Stuff I Never Learned from the Schoolbook. Welcome to an off night or a different night type show, not my normal Monday nights, but welcome. If this is your first time visiting the show, welcome. My name is Tom Springer, and I'm the host of Stuff I Never Learned from the Schoolbook, as you can see right up there. If you're a repeat offender, welcome back. We all know who you are because you're all part of the family that already exists on here. If you are new, as I stated, you are now becoming a part of the family. So welcome to the group. And again, the time isn't different. So it is 7 p.m. Central, 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain, 5 Pacific, 2 out in Hawaii, 6 a.m. tomorrow out in Indonesia, and anywhere between 9 a.m. and noon tomorrow out in Australia. Welcome everybody from all over the world. For those who are watching us live, welcome to the show live. For those who will be watching recorded, welcome to the show when it was recorded. Anyways, I don't beat around the bush any, as we all know. I'm going to go ahead and bring on my special guest. She was very nice to come on an off night. I wanted to make sure we got everybody. I wanted to make sure she got on here sooner rather than later because she was way too right. Primal, we are all a little off. Exactly. But she was someone who did my Starseed reading for me, and it was spot on. And looking at her page, there are so many other things that she does, and I wanted to bring her on, talk to her. She's a fantastic, wonderful woman. So let's go ahead and bring on Holly. Say hi, Holly. Hi, Holly.
Hello.
How are you?
Everybody. I'm great. How are you doing?
Good. So, Nikki, that's my wife. She's saying hi again to you. So she's popping in. Hi, Missy.
Hi.
Missy's here.
Hey,
Um,
Missy.
and then, yeah, Holly is amazing. I would agree with that. True statement. So Primal's on here. Hello, Primal. Good to see you again. Brenda's here. Hello, Miss Brenda.
Hi, Brenda.
And Rosie's here. Hello, Miss Rosie. How are you? Yes, on this
Hey,
hot,
Rosie.
melting day. Exactly. I just decided not to wear makeup today because it just kept running off, Rosie. So there you go. It was so hot, I actually shaved off the hair I had and went back to the mohawk. So Teresa does say hello as well. Yep, Holly is amazing.
Hey, Teresa.
So this will happen all night. I'll just keep throwing them up there and waving and all that wonderful stuff. If you want to stop and say hi as they pop up, you're more than welcome to. My show is known for squirrel moments. Thank you, Rosie. So squirrel moments are expected to happen on the show, so don't feel like you have to keep going or whatever else. You can stop and scroll right along with the rest of us. So Primal saying, good to see you, Tom and Holly. I had the Starseed report done as well, and it's awesome, right? Exactly.
Oh, that's great.
It is. So first off, before we get into asking you all these wonderful questions, I am going to throw this up here numerous times today, but we'll start off right now. So everybody right here, it's Holly's stuff, shiftingtopurpose.com. I actually have her site up right now on my side because I was perusing it again and again and again, as I normally do. And there's a lot of information out here for people to come out and look at. You just set up the next Lionsgate portal.
Yes.
For 8/8 at 6 p.m. Central. So there's so much information out here. I'm not going to sit here and go through it all. But if you do want some information, there's stuff like quantum energy readings. There's stuff like Starseed readings. There's quantum energy soul coaching. There are courses. There are meditations. And one of the things that I really appreciated is there is an about section about you. Which is not just a hi, my name's Holly and this is what I do. You go into your past. You talk about how you basically after the divorce of your parents, you ended up dropping out of school and kind of going with that side of the house, and you've rebuilt yourself. And turned into what you are now. So you went from a high school dropout to having your degrees and being this wonderful, outstanding woman that you are. But there's something in here that you say, and this is your current mindset of things happen for me, not to me. So everything that has happened to you was actually happening for you to get you to where you are now. That is fantastic. That is awesome. I love that. So folks, you want to read up about Holly and everything else, like I said, this wonderful set right here. And also what I'm going to do for those people who are going to watch this as a recording, if you missed this or you want to go back and find this, I do always copy and paste this into the comment sections so they can just scroll up into the comments and find your information again. which is what I'm getting ready to do now. As you say hello to us again and say hi, Holly, and then explain to us how you got to where you are now, what started you on this journey, what brought you about to this, and all this wonderful stuff.
Well, that's a loaded question because there's been so much, and I tell my friends like I've just had these little breadcrumb trails that I remember from my childhood, but now looking back and knowing what I know, I'm like starting to piece everything together, and I see that I've been gently guided all along, and through my failures, through my being a high school dropout. I was even homeless at one point. um, all of that has happened to like really shift, and I use that word, that's the name of my website, Shift into Purpose.
Yep.
I use that a lot because it's really, that's all it is, just this little tiny shift in your mindset that can really set the course for a new purpose,
Right.
a new path in your life. And so that's really, looking back, that's what I see. So, but if you would want me to pinpoint, it would probably be 2012. At that time, I didn't know anything about this, shift that was happening, and, leveling up in consciousness. I just was feeling like I was not fulfilled in my marriage, and I didn't have fulfilling relationships, and I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, and I wasn't a spring chicken anymore, and I needed to decide. I needed to make a choice for happiness,
Right.
for finding the happiness inside me. And so I just started this, what really became the dark night of the soul journey, and spent a good year, maybe 2 years, just miserable and crying a lot. um, but it really, once I did make those little shifts in the way I looked at life, and really, this is not happening, like all this is not coming down on me and falling apart on me. It's really, showing me, it's clearing the path. And it's kind of like, a tornado will knock a house down and there's just debris everywhere, but when you start clearing things out and you start finding the little gems of memories, and it's like once you get it cleared, now you have a nice place to put a new foundation and to rebuild. And so that's what I started doing.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy now, and I have great relationships, and
That's great.
I'm learning that friend thing.
I'm still working on that one. So
Well, it's a challenge when you've grown up being, odd or different, or
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to point something out to folks, and it kind of frustrates me, but it happens a lot. But so everyone look over at Miss Holly right here. Look at this beautiful woman right here. And then look at the old gray bearded face, and just know that we're both children of the 70s, but she looks so much better than this guy does. So
well, you got that tough guy image to
is that what it is? Yeah, that's got to be what it is. So you're talking about, and it seems like there's a lot of people that have gone through the same things you have, because Primal is saying, I dropped out of school and married and it's all good, and Rosie says, me too, Primal, and I made it to where I am. So there's a lot of people who have taken that same path along, maybe not along with you, but it has happened just along, and everyone's coming out on the other side to be these fantastic people. So it's a benefit to let other people know that there is a light on the other side. If this is what they're going through currently, that
Absolutely.
they, the saying of, if you're going through hell, just keep going, is a true statement. That's something you push down. So I did not drop out of school, but I am also I have been married before and everything else. So I came out looking like this. Oh, wait, bad example. My bad. Sorry. Uh,
Not bad.
and Rosie is saying, look, she's from 75 and my wife is from 1976. So yeah.
Nice.
So it's all good. And it's really cool too, because you talk, like I said, you talk a lot about on your site, you basically open up about yourself, which I think is important because there's a lot of people who, when they say about me, they talk about their commercial them. And it doesn't let them resonate with the person who you are to say, this is someone I feel I can talk to. Feels like someone I can open up to. This is someone I can trust that what they're saying is from them and not from some kind of advertisement. It's from the person themselves. And I think
genuine.
That's correct. That's a better word for it than all the blabbering I've been doing. Genuine. But you have so much stuff on the site that I was looking through, like even when I go through your courses. Listen to me, folks, when you're listening to the words that come out of this mouth. I'm at meditations and practices, and the meditations say a 10-minute manifestation meditation, free, right? Portal to the Aquarian Age meditation, free. Healing Forest meditation, free. So there's stuff that lets them engage with you and understands who you are initially without having to pay for it. Which is huge as well. And there's even a couple of practices out here. Intro to the Aura, free. Welcome to the 12-day manifestation challenge, free. So these are things that people can go out and reach out and find out more about who you are by listening to you and understanding what they can learn about themselves through you before they decide if they want to move on or not, which is fantastic because so many people are like, half an hour, $100, and you're like, they're like, but how do I know this is right for me? So it's
exactly
nice that there is a introductory type side to it before the side. Yes, I want to continue on asking for assistance with you or guidance or whatever else. Now, I did Primal saying that she is our elder 60s baby here. It was a fantastic year for muscle cars, and now that makes me even more mad because you're also amazingly beautiful and you're in your 60s. So the women need to stop doing this because you're making me feel bad. No, I don't ever feel bad. I'm actually 12 3/4 because I was born on a leap day, so I'm all good. So I've only had 12 birthdays and I still look like this. So imagine how I feel. So Nikki is saying, thank you for those, Holly. The one I'm reading out. She says, I will have to go out and do those for your site that I'm reading off right now.
awesome.
But I was drawn to you through a mutual friend, and she stated, hey, I want to put you in touch with Holly and have her do your Starseed reading if you're interested. And I'm like, absolutely. And that was really my introduction to you, was my Starseed reading. Like full-on introduction to you was the Starseed reading. And it was amazing, folks. I got to tell you, I have mine open over here. She talks about stuff that could not be more spot on if I had written it myself. And the sad part about it is she could not be more spot on if I hadn't written it myself and just wasn't willing to admit. So it's almost like if I had a soul, she would have looked into it and said, yes, this is what it is. But, so we know I don't have one of those. But if I did.
Well, it is sometimes like I do feel like I'm peering in to somebody's energy. And it's, like I said earlier, it's kind of one of those situations where you're not sure, like, how is this person going to read this? Or does it even resonate with them? Do they even understand a word I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. And my wife made a good point here too. So she wrote, and everyone watching, I too have had a Starseed reading from Holly, and it is awesome. 18 pages worth of information, so worth it. I have to tell you, mine's 19 pages. So it's not like you're getting a Starseed reading and it's like a page or two long with some very generic information. It is very in-depth. It is very eye-opening. It like I said, it tells me stuff about myself I did not know. But I was both happy and hesitant to hear because sometimes it makes me face some of my shortcomings that I don't want to admit, which it does, which is interesting. So that's really good.
That's one way to look at it. But another way to look at it, things are happening for you.
Correct.
So
Well,
they're like, this is helping you to really realize your eternal nature
yeah,
and what your karma is and what you're here to work on so that you can, raise your level of consciousness and
yeah.
awareness.
So I didn't mean, so when I said shortcomings, I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, this is something I have to work on. This is something I have. This is kind of like my shadow work. This is something I have to work on. This is something I have to deal with on my own in order to improve my consciousness, to improve myself, to work through stuff I may not even have realized that I need to work through to move on. So I mean the shortcomings in a bad way. Sorry about that. That's how it was just literally me facing myself, like putting a mirror to myself and saying, hey, you have to face this. And she's pointing it out to you because you're not willing to do it yourself. So I take it as a positive thing. I apologize if it didn't sound that way.
No, it's fine. I have had people that felt that way, about it, like, and they really kind of want to identify with the alien nature of the report and not really look at the meat of it.
Right.
And what it's really guiding you to do and to look at about yourself. I'm a Scorpio riser, so like I'm like, okay, show me what, what I need to change. I'll do it.
Yeah,
I'm ready to dive deep.
And when you talk about stuff like that, I'll let you know that I am solely. I should be studying this stuff just to further knowledge to have a knowledge base about myself. But if you told me, hey, so what is your sun? What is your moon? What is your rising? Good luck. I got no clue. I couldn't tell you if I had to. I could look it up, and I still couldn't tell you. But I read it almost as, I mean, it is identifying so much more than what I am here in this body on Earth. It is it almost reads as the true me. What is instilled in me and what is built into me. So this leads me to your next question. My next question: how did you get involved in doing Starseed readings? How did this come about?
Well, I didn't even know it was a thing. So I am popping out of the closet, folks.
Root beer, people. I'm not drinking online. I'm drinking a root beer. So
gotcha. I'm drinking my LaCroix. So I was a child, and I knew that I had a group of beings that were communicating to me.
Okay.
I would hear them. I would hear them talk to themselves about me, and things that needed to happen to protect me. And when I say protect me, I'm not talking about like exterior world events. I'm talking about like, this is too much emotion for her to handle. I heard this when I was about 6 or 7. We have to build a wall. And so it was like a protective wall around my heart. And so, I've been like trying to tear down that wall for, quite a while. But, and so throughout my childhood, I would see these beings as an angel.
Mm-hmm.
They would appear as an angel. And so they've appeared to me in my adult. And more recently, probably in the last 10 years, they started really showing themselves to me, who they really are, communicating telepathically to me. Sometimes I can hear them audibly.
Okay.
And so the Starseed reading information came because it was information about me that they translated to me. And then I just went into a rabbit hole of like study and what is this, and learning they're Octurians, and and they were assigned to me. They were selected by me from what they say. I selected them to assist me in this lifetime.
Huh.
I'm sorry if this is weirding anybody out, but this
Not-
is really,
Not on
this
my
is
show. You can't weird anybody out on my show. So this is why they're on here. So
awesome. I'm in the right place then.
yes.
Yeah. And so I was introduced to the works of Bashar and Barbara Marciniak, and just deep diving on there. A lot of it really is channeled work by people who have been around for a while and, have what I felt is reliable information. And so it's all everything that I read, everything that I hear in regards to that comes, it gets really translated through my guides. And they've really helped me to see the whole way. And I'm not pretending that I understand how all of it works, but like how the energy solidifies and channels. It's kind of like on Guardians of the Galaxy or Star Wars, where they're going through portals and stuff like that. And so that energy literally comes to the soul and to the physical body through these portals, to create who we are. And so and then I just started talking to my friends, people I met at our Peace of Mind Center, and talking about it, and started practicing reading on them. And they were like, oh my gosh, this is life-changing, and it's still to this day, they'll say, I still look back at my reading, or, when something will happen that it sparks something and they look back at it.
Yeah.
So that's wonderful.
Amazing. Yeah. And I've noticed talking to you recently that you and I have a lot of the same locations, I guess the best way to say it. So it's pretty interesting because you talked about Taurus, which I have. I mentioned Regulus earlier, which you have. So, and that's where your soul's from, right? Is that the one that you said your soul was from? Was Regulus?
My soul is from Antares.
Oh, okay.
So that's Archangel Uriel.
Oh, yeah, because mine was Elohim.
Yeah, well, mine's Elohim too. It's just a different version of the Archangel.
Okay. Yeah, because mine's Raphael. So, yes. Rosie is asking, how do I know what my rising sign and my moon sign are?
You can go to astro.com, and you need to know your birth. Well, I hope you know your birthday, your birth time and location, and put all that information in there, and it will show you your sun sign is, the zodiac sign. Like, I'm a Virgo. That's where my sun is. And most people know their sun sign.
Right.
The rising sign is the constellation that's on the eastern horizon when you were born. And that changes every 2 hours. But it's really an infusion of energy that you get, that it's really about what you came here to learn.
Yeah.
Okay. So you get infused, your soul, your chakras get infused with this energy. And okay. And so the moon sign will be in the astrology wheel. You'll just see looks like a little quarter moon. And whatever house that's in, if it's, in the sign of Aquarius or Taurus.
Yeah, she says she's an Aries.
Aries sun. Okay.
And that's interesting because my wife and I have discussed this many times. I am it depends on what calendar you look at too. If you're looking at the 12-month versus the 13-month, it pushes me out of one into another. But I am a Pisces sign, but I have no traits of a Pisces in my sun sign. I am not a dreamer. I am not creative. I am not artistic. No, that is not me in any way, shape, or form. So
it can also be the house of the subconscious. And so, like, a lot of this is sort of like Scorpio, which they're both water signs. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
And so, Pisces can deal with the murky, like, underworld, which, like, your intro is perfect. A perfect example of the murky,
Right.
water element.
Okay. That makes more sense to me than.
But, being a leap baby,
Yep.
you're probably between time. Like, there's probably something about, I don't think anything's an accident or happens by coincidence. So, yeah, like,
So
you may be
so
a
there's
time warp baby.
there's a lot going on with me. So I'm a leap baby. I'm a twin. And we were 15 days late. So there's all kinds of just not right going on there. So
Wow. Was your twin also on leap day?
yeah, she is. Yep,
Okay.
she is. And there's actually an older brother who was also born on leap day.
No way.
Yeah, he's 8 years older than I am. He's also born on leap day. So there's
That
3 of
is
us in my family.
like lightning striking.
Right? Yeah, we made a lot of the papers in 1972. As far as not only are there 2 born on leap day, but they also have an older brother who, which they'd never heard of before. They thought we were the first 3 kids ever born on the same day, and one of us being a set of twins. So, yep.
Wow.
So Rosie does say she's an Aries, and my wife says me too. My sun sign is an Aries, my moon sign is a Taurus, and my rising sign is also an Aries.
Oh, double Aries. You got some Aries lessons to learn.
And the thing is, we talk about this. She and I will talk about stuff like this, and we still have no idea what it means. So it's like, okay. And she'll research. She's like you. She does the research. She wants to know the information. I'll know what it says, and then I'll do my lazy stuff and just don't care. So
Retaining it, that's the hard part. I have to stay in it to, keep it
see,
fresh.
that's where I'm lucky, because if I actually take the time to learn it, I have a very good memory. I'll remember everything I read right off the first time. I do have an eidetic memory, so I can tell you what my first Christmas looked like because I remember it, type of stuff. I can tell you what Nikki was wearing when we first met and everything else that happened. So I have that eidetic memory, which is very helpful to me because I am very lazy and I won't read things twice. So I better remember it the first time.
Oh, it's a sign of intelligence for sure.
So, but you do so much other stuff as well. So again, I have a lot of people who follow me, but not a lot of people who read my intros when I posted that you're going to be on my show on a Thursday night. But I have everything, which is very nice. But there's so much that you talk about. I also have everything up over here too. So you talk about that you can do not only Starseed readings, but you do soul. What is soul coaching?
Well, it's kind of something I've called myself, a life coach, a spiritual life coach, a transformational life coach, yada, yada.
Yeah.
Bunch of words. But, really, I've really been trying to get to the heart of what it is that I'm here to do and what I want to do, how I want to serve people. And part of that is just, showing people through, as an example, how to live a soul-led life.
Okay.
So being led by my spirit and my soul, to be authentic, to learn to, do things like this that are out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
Talking is not always in my comfort zone.
You're doing great. Trust me, you're doing great.
Much less being on camera, But yeah, so just learning to do those things that I need to be able to do to live out my purpose. So soul coaching is helping people to really shift into their purpose in this lifetime. based on their soul's identity, what their soul's karma is, what they're here to work on, like that Starseed report, you
Yeah.
know. Yeah, clearing out that karma, because that is really the work on the big picture scale. That's what starseeds and light workers are here to do, is get down and do the, it's not, physical work. It's not work in the outer world. It's work in the inner world.
Right.
Because that's what creates the change. And then that's how we be how we be an example, a living example to other people. We don't have to preach it. We don't have to talk about it and, fuss at people about what they're not doing. We just do it, and then they see us.
Right. Yeah. That's huge. That's I mean, you have it listed down here when you sent me your information, as about the third one down, but I would probably move that one up a little bit in your. That's just personal to me. I think that would be a little bit that would be moved up for me. And you also are, well, you're all kinds of different things, but you do an intuitive chakra energy reader.
Yeah. So, and that's something I do in person. So I have a Carillion photography device. So it captures the energy coming from your meridian endpoints in your fingertips, and it shows where your chakras are on an actual picture.
Oh, wow.
And so then what I do is I go in, connect with spirit, and then intuitively, based on what I'm seeing, I get messages and I relay those. So I'm just kind of like a little channel, vessel for this information to come to people about what's going on in their lives. And they can ask questions, and we kind of, come to some solutions for them to be able to live their best life.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I do that at the Peace of Mind Center here in Shreveport.
Yeah, I was just saying, Nikki's about to ask, where are you at, so she can come have this done.
She's down
in Shreveport, Louisiana, Nikki. So
come on down and sweat with us.
Right? Yeah, we're doing it here in Nebraska quite well on our own right now, but but one of the places we're actually discussing going is saying we're going to go down to Louisiana to go do some work. So yeah, see, yep. Well, I want to go there. See, I told you that was coming up.
Are you coming to look for Bigfoot?
We are not, but we can always do that. I know that Jessica's down there, Cryptid Huntress. She's down, I think, in Georgia, so she's not too far away from you guys. I know there's a handful of people down there that we're friends with through here as well that are Bigfoot hunters down there. So I'm sure they would let us come along with them.
I've seen that dude.
I'm telling you, I'm afraid that I would walk out there and they think I was him. They'd be like, "Where's Bigfoot?" I'm like, "No, not."
How tall are you?
I'm not very tall. I'm only 5'8", but I'm very.
Okay.
but I do have a 54-inch chest, so I'm kind of big. So yeah, they look like mini foot, and they just they just point at me and go, "Get him!" And I'm like, "No, I'm okay." Rosie said that she had an aura photography session, and it says that she's an indigo.
Oh, okay. So that is a different kind of aura photography session. So with the Carillion photography, it's really the newest technology when it comes to like energy scans. And what my aura pictures do is they show you what is in the different layers of your auric field. So it's really good for diagnosing medical issues.
Now Nikki is going to want to go.
You can see like disharmony in the energy. It should be like a little egg shell type thing, these different layers of an eggshell, and it should be smooth. And when you have a lot of noise looking, vibrations, it indicates that there's, something going on, maybe nervousness, or, it can be all sorts of things. I've seen throat, like thyroid issues, back pain, hip, cardiovascular issues, even.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sleep problems. I can tell if you're not sleeping well.
Well, then that would light up on me like a Christmas tree, because I sleep about 3 to 4 hours every night for about the past 30 years. So since my military career, that's my average, is about 3 to 4 hours a night. So yeah. So and I function like this without coffee every morning. So it's pretty.
Wow. Right? I've tried to do that with lots of caffeine, and I can't do it, because I was thinking, oh, I could be so productive. I could learn all kinds of stuff, I could just read.
I also don't drink alcohol, and I tell people I look like this without alcohol. Imagine if I drank alcohol, how bad it would be. So Rosie also wants to know, Zhang, I saw your comment, but I got Rosie up here for one first. And she is asking, people are typing and I can't keep up. She's asking, can you break a soul contract?
Yes. I mean, can I personally break your? No, but you can break soul contracts. And really, I mean, that's not something that I delve into a whole lot in my studies, but I have come across it. And I do know that at this time, really, most contracts are kind of off the table. Like, they're done, they've been fulfilled, and all you really have to do is acknowledge it and say, okay, done with this. I am letting it go, or I have fulfilled my obligation, or I forgive it.
I would not have known that. I would not have known that. Zhang if you have not heard about Zhang, I always mention Zhang to everybody because she is absolutely wonderful. You heard me read off the times in the beginning where everyone is from. This is my Indonesian friend, which is why I mentioned Indonesian time. So Zhang watches us from Indonesia, which is fantastic because it's like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning over there. So she's up early watching us. But she's saying she's very interested to know about mystic philosophies. What are the philosophies?
Well, some of the philosophies that I have tuned into and grown from, number one, Sadhguru. You may be familiar with him, Ashang. He is really profound, has some profound wisdom, and really kind of got me started. Like, I was listening to him early on. Eckhart Tolle is another. Just, I've read his books. I read his books when they first came out, and he was on Oprah, back in the 80s or 90s, whatever that was. And so I bought his book, I don't know if it was A New Earth, but I read like 2 chapters, and I'm like, I have no idea what this guy's talking about. I picked it up, I found it, dusted it off like 10 years later, and I understood a little bit more. But yeah, like, the principles that he's talking about are, to me, they are so in line with everything that I'm talking about with the starseeds, with my philosophy on soul coaching. So he's really been fundamental, one of the fundamental philosophies, I guess.
Great.
I don't know. Does that answer your question, Ajang?
I think it would. Yeah, she'll post up there. I believe it does. Sorry, I'm catching up with everybody. So Primal states she had an aura photo done of her son when he was 3. It showed a column of gold light coming from his crown, and he had a halo. So that's pretty cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
So that would be divine energy. So yeah, that is really cool. I think when we're young, we are still tuned into the energy from before this lifetime.
Yeah.
So that would kind of make sense. And speaking of, like, that's kind of one of those things that led me to, where one of those breadcrumbs I mentioned that's led me to where I am, the things that I did looking back before age 7.
Oh yeah.
Those are the things I'm doing now. I used to do it with my teddy bears,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I would pace back and forth in front of my teddy bears, talking, preaching to them. I don't even know if words were coming out of my mouth at that point, but yeah, like I was a man in a robe. So I think maybe my last lifetime I was a monk. That's the closest thing I can come up with.
So I'm wondering if that's why our conversation we had before we came online, I wonder if this is why children aren't afraid of me. Because there's something along with that they see and they're like, I'm not really scared of that guy. So,
yes.
Whereas the parents see me and they see the physical side of me, whereas the kids are actually seeing,
yes, they're seeing
more
into you.
Right. They're tuning into me rather than just looking at my face and saying, that guy's scary. They know the true authenticity of who I am.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's what they're seeing. So I wonder if they're doing what
I was gonna say, yeah.
I wonder if they're doing what the machine does without the machine. So
yeah, I do believe that, like, the little ones, really, I work in a school,
yeah,
and so I'm seeing kids that they're psychic.
Yeah.
In fact, I was testing a kid last year, and it was just like a one-on-one test, and he was so psychic that I knew I was projecting the answer to him, and he was picking it up. Because I would sometimes be reading the answers in my mind.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the right answer, even though this kid's like really smart. And I knew he would know the answer. But yeah. And I was like, okay, we got to stop that.
Right.
And this kid does say that he sees spirits and stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's happening so often in the schools. I think the little ones are way more in tuned to energy.
Yeah. So Nikki, I'm going to share this. I'm not using names or anything else, but my wife's a high school teacher. But there's been a student or two in her high school classes that she feels that she can recognize that they have abilities, but they either are afraid to share them or show them, but yet they know they have it. Like she recognizes it or she'll pick up on it. So she'll know as well for some of her students, for a couple of her students. And a couple of her students have shared that information with her, but not with anyone else because she just has that presence that they can come and talk to her. But it's interesting how the kids do that. Like, you can see it, you can read it, you can pick up on it, even though they don't know it themselves.
Yeah. And I would say to Nikki, like, it's really important. I wish I had somebody because, like, back in the 70s, like you could really get in trouble for talking about some of the, like, I had the preacher come to my house.
Yeah.
And fuss at my parents and take my Ouija board away. And, a lot of, like, I don't know, it was very fearful. And my mom would say, we can't talk about things like that, but now, like, we have to get rid of that old mindset and start, safely letting people know it's okay to talk about. And that's really one of the things that my guides have told me, that you're safe to come out.
Yeah.
You're safe to come out now.
Yeah. And Nikki does it very subtly. In fact, she talks about it here. She does it very subtly. She has crystals on her desk so they know that she's involved. So if those who are also partaking in the spiritual journey, they'll see her crystals and they're like, okay, what are the crystals for? Like they'll probe and ask questions to see how she responds to it. So nice. If she responds, in the way that they're hoping that she will, then they'll open up to her and talk to her. Maybe slowly at first, but they'll leave, as you say, they'll leave little breadcrumbs to let her know that she's on the right path.
Mm,
So it's interesting to watch with the kids. So
that's
yeah,
beautiful.
it's pretty cool. Yes, Nighthawk. So Nighthawk's here, and he says, "I'm doing okay. I'm a survivor. Yep. Tom is about as scary as a big purple dinosaur. True. I am about that scary. That is about as scary as I am." So Primal is asking, "What are your thoughts on walk-ins?"
There are people who have walk-in souls, and I've kind of wondered if that was the case for me because there was such a radical shift. You know, do I know that that's what's happened? What I really think is that it's probably more like through an event or pre-orchestrated, planned event. Um, Something shifts in the person,
Yeah,
and your energy definitely has to elevate. You have to elevate your energy to take on a higher dimensional being into your body, to take their energy in.
yeah,
So, and that's really because we all have a soul, and that soul has an energy that's been dampened and, lessened. We can only handle a portion of it. And so for us to have a walk in or need a walk in, we would be taking on a higher dimensional energy,
yeah,
which is even more intense. And so, yeah,
yeah.
it happens. But I think a lot of people probably are just going through shifts and
Mhm.
elevating, and they're actually taking in more of their own soul. They're taking in some of the guidance of their like Arcturian guides.
Mhm.
And so now that they're open up and they're able to talk to these, or hear voices or beings, they think that, this is something outside them
Yeah,
that's come in. But I mean, it could be. I
yeah.
could be wrong.
And it's interesting you say that about yourself because there is a. I'm pretty sure if I put them on a football field against each other, they would go at it because we have had two different teams. One trying to decide if I'm a walk-in or a drop-in because my awakening didn't happen until I was 50, or if I just finally woke up. So there's for the people who have talked about my personal one, there's been a handful of people that have been like, "You're a drop-in." There's another handful saying, "No, he's not. He just finally awakened because he's."
No.
And so it's been back and forth the entire time on what happened with me. So
Yeah. Yeah. So that awakening part, that is just, it's pre-orchestrated.
Mhm.
It's the astrology. This is really why I follow the astrology,
Yeah,
to know what's happening because the energy is becoming more and more intense. Just like, we see in the world, things are becoming more and more intense.
right.
People are starting to lose their minds in some cases, it's so intense for them. And so I think that people who have come here as star seeds
Mhm.
with a purpose, it's all part of the plan because or we as a collective need our energy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We
Primal
need the
calls
star
it journey
seed
back to
energy.
self. So yeah, journey back to self.
Yes.
So yeah, William, that's probably true. Nighthawk saying, with my luck, I would get Rodney Dangerfield as my walk-in. LOL. No respect.
I think people, they get attached to some of the cool, oh, I've got a braided soul and I've got to, walk in or whatever. Um, yeah, and that's really, something that my guides have been upset about with the whole starseed thing. Like they're like, that's not the purpose. That's not the purpose that we wanted you to do this for, is to show people, it's really about showing people who they really are. But
Mhm.
the idea was we wanted them to, tune into their eternal nature, not, oh, I'm Orion, I'm
Right.
Arcturia, and then start, identifying and attaching to that label.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that can happen with the soul braid and the drop in and those kind of things too.
Yeah. There's a lot of labels to put stuff on, but
truly moving away from that.
Really your eternal self, even if it has a label to it. If you get rid of the label, it's still going to be your eternal self. So yeah.
And the soul goes.
Right? Right? Exactly. The soul does that for so many things, and I'm sure that my spirit guides do the same thing every time they see me trying to walk out of the house. They're like, oh, it's going to be one of those days. So, exactly. So you also do meditations.
Yes.
You do distant Reiki sessions.
I'm a Reiki master.
What can I ask? What Reiki?
Usui.
Okay. I know there's different ones. I don't understand them all at all. I just know they have different labels. So like my wife did what'd you do? A fire Reiki or something like that? She did something like that. So I just know they're different ones. I don't know what they mean. I don't know what they do. I just think they sound cool.
It's all healing.
It's all the same thing as far as I'm concerned. If it heals me, it heals me. So
right.
Better than aspirin. So
I like the idea of your healing hugs.
Yeah, that was it's funny because I can do a lot of different things, but to me personally, that's my coolest one. The fact that I can take care of anxiety, depression, sadness, fear, tiredness, any of that, just by simply with intent grabbing a hold of someone and holding on to them, to where I can feel it leave them and come to me. And then when I let go, they all kind of have the same response. They're all kind of like, that was really cool. What just happened? Why am I not sad anymore? Why am I not anxious anymore? Why do I have all this energy? And then the next question is, what did you do with it? So, and I wonder that. I've had a lot of people ask me about that. I don't take it internally, just so people know I don't take it, and it doesn't internalize into me, and it doesn't hurt me at all in any way, shape, or form. All it does is it sticks to my armor, which a lot of people call their bubble. Mine is an armor. Mine hits my armor, and then once I release the person, it dissipates off of my armor because my armor will not let it through, and it just gets released back into the atmosphere.
Archangel Michael.
Yeah, and I tell people, the people who are in my audience who know me know that everyone has a bubble, or everyone wants to have a bubble. Mine is not. Mine is a suit of armor. It literally looks like behind my wall you can see Superman. It literally looks like a superhero's costume, but it is made out of a golden dragon scale, so it's impenetrable, unless I want it to be. But I want that whatever it is to be able to get as close to me as possible, so I can see it, I can hear it, I can sense it, but it can't touch me, so it can't hurt me. Because that's just who I am, and I have that kind of non-fear. I don't fear anything. Nikki and I have identified I don't fear anything. It freaks her out sometimes because I'm too dumb to know any better to know when I should step back sometimes. But yeah, so to me that's my coolest thing is my hugs, because it does not hurt me and it helps others.
I need one of those.
So, well, apparently we're coming down to Louisiana, according to my wife. So,
I got to see y'all.
That's right. Yeah. Oh, and Nikki does say, yeah. She says, the Sui Holy Fire Reiki. So that's what she says. So,
nice.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's really cool. I want to throw this back up there. So I already had it up there once, but people, there she is. Ta-da! shiftingthepurpose.com. Make sure you go out there and check out her site. I still have her site up. For those who are curious, I know that some people have come in later, so I'm going to kind of give a little backtrack about what your site does. Very first page, I'm not going to go through it all, but very first page, very first headline, Lionsgate's portal activation 8/8 at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. And you have a co-host with you on this one too. So it's not just you. You actually have a co-host, Missy Duncan, on. Activate your highest vibration, 6 p.m. online, Tuesday, 8/8. with a soul star chakra activation, sound healing, and higher self meditation. That's a lot to take in, just so you know. So I'm sure just me saying it as a lot to take in, that means that's a lot for you to put out. So
Well, yeah, but that's the thing. I have gotten used to doing and putting this stuff out.
right.
I've had to learn to do all of this, like the web, the graphics, the webcast,
Oh yeah.
doing all of that myself. So that's one, big job.
Right.
The meditations just come. Like I channeled a meditation, that the portal to the golden age meditation. I channeled that from my guides last week. I wrote it down and it went live today. It was perfect timing for like astrologically is like completely perfect timing.
Right.
I'll spare you of the details, but yeah, so like I'm used to doing all this stuff now, so it's fun.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. When you talk about the technical side, how to build your page and everything else, I understand because I am a one-man show when it comes to building my sites, my advertisements, this site, getting you on here, everything else. This is all me. I don't have anyone in the background. The commercials I build when I build them for people are all me. So it's a little interesting, and that part's harder to me than sitting here talking to my guests. Because every time I talk to my guest, I learn something new, which is fantastic for me. So by now, I should be a damn genius for as many people as I talk to. But I should be pretty soon.
you remember it all.
I do. I do remember it all. That's the good part. But continuing on with your site, you have, besides talking about you in the introduction, a little further down, you have click here to receive the full moon journal page. So for folks who don't know who that is, if you click on it, it's like a manifestation journal. It's something that people can go into and they can look at and they can fill out and they can kind of get a feeling.
Well, I'm trying to help people get into that practice,
Yes.
I'm trying to help people live a soul-led life. And so part of that is creating rituals. And one of the easiest type rituals to move into is the cycles of the moon, the new moon, the full moon. And so I've been putting out these journal pages for people to, create their own journal or create their own ritual with. They can burn a candle. They do a little introspection and release stuff.
Yeah, this one here that I have open, like it says, step 1, light a white candle to symbolize the moon's light, cleansing and balancing. Step 2, reflect energies holding me back. And you have stuff like anger, disgust, grief, exhaustion, frustration, boredom, sadness. What or who triggers your low vibe patterns? Family members, coworkers, children, partners. So you kind of give them a step-by-step guide to help assist them in understanding this, which is fantastic. So they kind of have a template to work off of, and it's kind of like a self-recognition for themselves. Obviously it's for themselves if I say self-recognition, but it's a self-recognition page for them to go out to and follow. So it's really cool that, you supply so much information on your page that I have not seen on other pages. And Teresa is saying the journal pages are so helpful. So there you go. You have someone who does it so they understand it. And I understand that I'm talking about your page. People are going to, I'm hoping that by explaining what I'm looking at, because not everyone will go out and look just because I tell them to, but if I'm explaining what's on there, then they're going to have more of an interest to go out there and go, okay, good Lord, she has this stuff out there that can help me. I want to go out to that page. Because I can advertise your page all I want and say, hey, you can go out to shiftingtopurpose.com. But if people don't understand what is on there, then what's the point? So
Right.
I can hit this button all day long and go like this, go here. But it's important for people to understand what's on your page and how much your page can help them.
Yes.
And the coolest thing about it that I am identifying is that they may not know yet how much it can help them, or if it can help them at all, until they go look at it. And they may think, well, I'm going to go out and I'm going to look at this. There's not going to be anything out here that can help me. But that one thing could be like, oh, holy crap, that really helps, type of thing. So people, go out and check out this site.
Yeah.
There's a reason that you can do this.
Do meditation.
Rosie's saying, I can sell a blind man a pair of eyeglasses. Thank you. I appreciate that. But it's the truth. I mean, look, Holly came on because I asked her to, which was absolutely wonderful. But I also know that you had so much to offer people, which is why I asked you to come on. I have so many people that come on the show, but every single person that comes on my show offers some form of insight, or some form of service, or some form of something. And it's really important for the audience and the people who watch this recorded later to understand that you're not just on here talking about what you do, but you can also help them as well. And I think that's important for so many people to understand and know. So that's kind of big on. I'm a big believer in what I push, and I don't want to say I'm pushing this, but there's a reason I go out and I check out your websites. There's a reason that I talk about what I talk about, because I know what will help others, even though if they don't know, they need the help.
Right. And, that's another thing, or something that comes to my mind, is that I've been there. I've been through so much. Sometimes I think people think, oh, she's got a professional career. She's, got a nice house and her family, whatever. It's not always been that way.
Right. That's not how it started.
I've had to build this, and the things that I'm offering on my site are a culmination of all the stories, the lessons, the heartbreak and recovery, really, that I've been through.
Yeah.
And so I want to give that. I want to give that for free. If people want to, pay a little for a starseed reading or an energy reading, beautiful.
Perfect.
You will benefit. And that's really my goal, is to just benefit others.
Yeah. And you actually have other items on here that aren't just like readings and stuff. You actually have a vibe aura spray, which is with essential oils, organic rose water, shungite water, which is huge. I wear shungite almost every day, just so we're aware. That is something that I'm big on, is my shungite. I don't know why I'm so drawn to shungite, but shungite is one that I am very much drawn to. Everyone's like, well, you should wear tourmaline, or you should do your obsidian. No, shungite is my weapon of choice. It's the best way for me to say that. So there's a lot of other information and offerings on here besides a reading, or besides, just one. There are so many things on here that people need to go out and just check out the site. And guess what? Not everything you do has to be in person. There's a lot of stuff you can do online. And I know this because looking at the site right here in front of me, it actually says book an appointment right on the very first screen. So I know that you don't have to show up to have all of this done. And yes, Primal, I totally agree. Shout out to Jamie Whitaker for sending us your way. Because I believe Jamie's the one who sent me, my wife, and Primal all out to you to get our information done for our Starseed.
She's great.
So she's fantastic. But yes, so good shout out for her. And Rosie is saying, yes, protect yourself and your armor. I do very much so. I'm very protective of myself. I'm more protective of those around me, but I'm pretty protective of myself too. But yeah, so I mean, there's you and I can
not even like with the aura spray.
Yeah,
I will set my essential oils out under, or certain ones that correlate to specific planets, and put them out for astrological infusion. And so it's infused.
This one actually talks about that with upgrades of Saturn and Uranus transits, fragrances of cedar, wood, and jasmine. So blended intentionally to soothe the energy upgrades of these planets, and there's also a scent to it to help along with that as well. So it's not just a a water that she filled up from a tap and went, I'm going to sell this as this. You know, I mean, it's actually something that is beneficial.
Yeah. It is wonderful. I've had a lot of people use it and, you know, swear by it. They feel protected, or like situations at work. I've had somebody tell me that like this particular person that was giving them a hard time just backed off all of a sudden. Changes in, you know, the way they looked at things, viewpoints, is another thing I hear a lot too.
Yeah. You're out of stock on this right now temporarily.
Yeah.
But you also advertise a sacred salt, shower scrub, and aura cleanser. And you're out of that temporarily.
I'm waiting on the astrology.
So I'm sure some people will go onto the site and they'll see that and like, when's it coming back? So
soon. It's been out for a while. I have to, like, I infuse, in that case, I'm putting out Dead Sea salt and the essential oils, and yeah, there's a lot to making that. It has to be, you know, blended and fluffed, and then add the salts in, and yeah.
So it's a process.
So it's a big deal. But, you know, my intention behind it is that I don't always have time to do a sacred cleanse. But what I mean by that is to cleanse my energy, or if I've been around a lot of people that I didn't like their energy, I need to use some salt to take a salt bath, but I don't have time to take a salt bath all the time. Yeah. So I have a scrub that you can just scrub your body with and set your intentions in the shower. So it's a quicker, easier.
Yeah, and that's I'm going to tell you right now, that's beneficial to a lot of people I know, because they're like, that was a really bad place I've been. And that literally is recent for us, because I actually had to go and clear a house for somebody who was at a location that was bad, and they felt like something came home with them and they felt terrible. So I had to go over to their place and not only take care of the house, but take care of them. So it was a process. So something as simple but as intentional as your scrub could have helped. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So so there's a conversation going on the side where Rosie's talking about protector armor, and Nikki said he's more protective of me. So Rosie's asking if she can call her Lois Lane, which is so funny, because the story behind that, as everyone sees my wall behind me, is my Superman wall. I am a humongous Superman fan, and I have been ever since I was little. And Superman was actually my call sign when I was in the military, because I was shot twice. And I continued to move forward. And they were like, even bullets can't stop him. He must be Superman. So, which is why so much of me resonates around Superman, with my armor, with my protectiveness, with everything else, because to me, that is me. You know, I am not Superman, but I feel like I really appreciate those qualities and intentions that Superman had. Comic books, movies, everything else. So it's funny that she says, "Can I call you Lois Lane?"
So what branch were you in?
I was Air Force, but I was Joint Forces. I worked with a group known as the Ugly 13, or the Gargoyle Squad, because there was always 13 of us, and we were a sniper unit. So, but I was the only Air Force member in that entire unit. Everyone else was Army, Marines, Navy. So
I don't know if you can see my Semper Fi in the background.
I did see it. Yep. I saw it earlier up there. So yeah.
My son's out of the Marines, recently out.
Where's he at?
He's not in the house right now, but he's living it back at home.
I was gonna say hi really quick, but because I was just at
I gotta kick him out for this.
Well, I just returned from Camp Hansen over in Okinawa about a week ago. So I was actually at a Marine base about a week ago, teaching them.
He was there.
Oh yeah?
I believe that's where he was.
Yeah, that's where I was. I was just teaching them, and now I teach people how to drop bombs on other people. But that's what I was doing out in Camp Hansen, was teaching a handful of our fighting Marines how to do their job correctly, rather than just running Tall Melinda, firefights and yes.
Yeah.
So
Oh my gosh. So
that's
scary.
what I now do for a living. Besides this, is to teach our military how to perform correctly. So, yep.
Oh, he didn't learn much there. He was under quarantine while he was there.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is terrible. So, but yeah. So, well, I think we're kind of a good place to wrap.
Yeah.
If you want to, unless you have anything else you want to bring up, or unless my audience has any more questions of you, I'll leave it to them. But other than that, I think this is a fantastic show. And there's a lot of stuff you shared with us that, like I said, I've been doing this now for about a year, but it's stuff I've never heard. So you brought a lot of new stuff to the show, to the platform for people to delve into and to kind of take back with them. So, but again, one more time, folks, bam, Holly. Doo-doo. So going to Shift into Purpose. Now they can find you on Facebook too, right?
Yes, I do have it's a private Facebook group. It's called Shift into Purpose.
Okay.
And yeah, so you just go in and answer some questions, and we let people in. We do keep it private because some people are a little hesitant to come out of the closet.
Yeah.
The Starseed closet just yet. And that's great. I want to be there and have a community that supports those people.
Yeah,
because I'm one of them.
That's why the show was built. The show was built so people can have a community to come talk to about anything and everything that they feel is odd or weird, and that's exactly why the show was built. So
I love it.
So Rosie's saying thank you. It was a very informative, interesting show. Primal saying thank you as well. Nikki is letting you know that she sent you a DM with some information. So hopefully everybody who is watching this now and people who will be watching this on the recordings will go out to your site and get to know you more and to see if there is, and I don't want to say to see if there is, but to understand that there is information out here that can assist them, whether they know it yet or not. And the big part of this is I try to tell people as well is I'm looking at your site, and even if there's not anything on there right now that resonates with you, if you go back, this site changes. And you may later on down the road click on Holly's site and be like, oh, that's different. And that was something I was looking for. Or all of a sudden this resonates with me. So don't be shy to return to the pages.
I'm ever evolving. My services are continuously changing.
Yeah.
But yeah, and people can also reach me at my email, shiftintopurpose@gmail.com. Pretty easy.
Hold on. Into purpose@gmail.com.
Yep.
Oops. Of course, I did all that in caps, but that's okay. Posting that onto my comments so people can go out there and grab that as well. So
great.
So you're about to be flooded and inundated with emails. You're welcome.
That's fine. They'll all be answered.
Yeah. But yeah, so this was fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on. I loved having you on my show.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, and like I said, I learn something new every time, and I learned a lot, not only from going from your site, but also listening to you talk and learning from what my audience, which people know is my family, asked the questions. So I learned from them asking the questions as well. So this was great for me too. Right. Rosie's saying, "Have a great weekend, everybody. Good show. Appreciate it. Good night."
Hi, Rosie.
If you don't mind, stay in the background for a second when I close the show down, and I will come back and talk to you.
All right.
So, but other than that, have a great night, and I will talk to you here in a couple of seconds.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.
All right, everyone. That's my Thursday night show that was out of cycle, but we will have a Monday night show coming back on. I have someone coming on. Her name is Luna Conley, and she will be bringing on one other person. It is actually the normal time, Monday night, 7 p.m. Central. But know that after this show, I do have a week off again because I have the rough task of going out to Hawaii for a week to work. So I'll be gone and I won't be doing a show from Hawaii. But for those folks from the family who do know, I will be visiting a couple people out there. I will be hanging out with Joe, probably. Joe Punohu and I are actually talking about, you may see a live pop up while I'm out there at a certain destination, just randomly, sporadically. But I do plan on, if we do this, to go live and to also film it so we can post it. So look out for me and Joe kind of hanging out a couple weeks together while I'm out in Hawaii, since I'll be right down the road from him. But on Monday, as I said, I will have someone on. Her name is Luna Conley. She will have on her partner as well, who also works with her. So I will have 2 people on next Monday, 7 p.m. Central. In the meantime, if you want to find more out about me, feel free to pop out to my stuff. Facebook.com/Stuff I Never Learned from a Schoolbook. You can go to Twitch, Stuff I Never Learned, and at YouTube at Stuff I Never Learned. My email, stuffineverlearned@gmail.com. So you can email me as well. Ask me anything. I'm more than happy to try to answer if I can. If I don't have an answer, I have a plethora of people who I can ask the question to and see if they can assist. Other than that, everybody have a great rest of your week. Enjoy your weekend. I will see everybody Monday. Stay safe.